Those cars coming past right now as the crowd's coming up over the bridge. Maddie's going to look after you guys this afternoon.
Only a driver in it. Yeah.
These are the ones in front of them.
C1.
Exposure 28, look it up, do some research. Exposure 28. Exposure 28. Exposure 28. Look up. 28. Exposure 28. Exposure 28.
There you go, guys. We'll go up front and hear what Albo has to say.
Look how many are here. Yeah, for our bloody freedom rallies. All these people are in their goddamn houses.
We won't take it anymore! 5, 6, 7, 8! No more violence, no more hate! 1, 2, 3, 4! We won't take it anymore! 5, 6, 7, 8! No more violence, no more hate! 1, 2, 3, 4! We won't take it anymore! 5, 6, 7, 8! No more violence, no more hate! 1, 2, 3, 4! We won't take it anymore! 5, 6, 7, 8! No more violence, no more hate! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Men's violence has to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Men's violence has to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Men's violence has to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Men's violence has to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Men's violence has to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Men's violence has to go!
All violence.
Men's violence has to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Men's violence has to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Men's violence has to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Men's violence has to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Men's violence has to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Men's violence has to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Men's violence has to go! Hey, hey!
women in aged care.
Has to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Men's violence has to go.
Men and women's violence. Men and women's violence. Women
Say it
raise their
once,
hands.
say it again. There's no excuse for violent men. Say it once, say it again. There's no excuse for violent men. Say it once, say it again. There's no excuse for violent men. Say it once, say it again.
Exactly, everybody.
There's no excuse for violent men. Say it once, say it again. There's no excuse for violent men. Say it once, say it again. There's no excuse for violent men. Say it once, say it again. There's no excuse for violent men. Say it once, say it again. There's no excuse for violent men. Say it once, say it again. There's no excuse for violent men. Say it once, say it again. There's no excuse for violent men. Say it once, say it again. There's no excuse for violent men. Say it once, say it again. There's no excuse for violent men. Say it once, say it again. There's no excuse for violent men. What? Say it once, say it again. There's no excuse for violent men. Say it once, say it again. There's no excuse for violent men. Say it once, say it again. There's no excuse for violent men. Say it once, say it again. There's no excuse for violent men. Say it once, say it again. There's no excuse for violent men. Say it once, say it again. There's no excuse for violent men. Say it once, say it again. There's no excuse for violent men. Say it once, say it again. There's no excuse for violent men. 1, 2, 3, 4. We won't take it anymore. 5, 6, 7, 8. No more violence, no more hate. 1, 2, 3, 4. We won't take it anymore. 5, 6, 7, 8. No more violence, no more hate. 1, 2, 3, 4. We won't take it anymore. 5, 6, 7, 8. No more violence, no more hate. 1, 2, 3, 4. We won't take it anymore. 5, 6, 7, 8. No more violence, no more hate. 1, 2, 3, 4. We won't take it anymore. 5, 6, 7, 8. No more violence, no more hate. 1, 2, 3, 4. We won't take it anymore. 5, 6, 7, 8. No more violence, no more hate. 1, 2, 3, 4. We won't take it anymore. 5, 6, 7, 8. No more violence, no more hate. 1, 2, 3, 4. We won't take it anymore. 5, 6, 7, 8. No more violence, no more hate. 1, 2, 3, 4. We won't take it anymore. 5, 6, 7, 8. No more violence, no more hate. 1, 2, 3, 4. We won't take it anymore. 5, 6, 7, 8. No more violence, no more hate. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Men's violence has to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Men's violence has to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Men's violence has to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Men's violence has to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Men's violence has to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Men's violence has to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Men's violence has to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Men's violence has to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Men's violence has to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Men's violence has to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Men's violence has to go.
All the comments are exactly everything I'm
thinking. Men's violence has to go.
What are the people saying?
Ho, ho. Men's violence has to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Men's violence has to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Men's violence has to go. Would everyone mind just sitting down, crouching down if it's accessible for you? Just because I know we got, holy shit, a lot of people.
Okay.
Alright, could I please have Jess from the team with the live stream, please? That's pretty important. Where's Jess? Oh, Jess. Jess, do you want to just come right in the middle there? It'll be really important. Will we let Jess in, please? Do you want to get in the middle too, please? Alright, there you go. Alright, thanks for all coming, everyone. This is absolutely insane, eh? I'm gonna...
important thing, the most special thing to me as an aerobical woman from Newcastle is our welcome to country. So we're going to start with the amazing Auntie Violet. Can we all please give her a round of applause? Thank you. Hello everybody and welcome to the land of the Ngunnawal people. It is my pleasure to be here on this sad occasion. I call it sad because I've been here when we did the women's event, and I did not ever think I was going to wear this shirt again. But you know what? Enough is enough. We demand action. I am a senior Ngunnawal elder, and we demand that violence against women be declared a national emergency. Bylaws and parole laws need to change to protect the victims. I've worked in organisations and the nearest refuge was 90 k's away. I took upon myself to protect these women and their kids. I took command. There was nothing that happened in my house where you threw mattresses on the floor. I said to one woman, I got a new table and chairs. And she was so worried that the kids were going to break or scratch the table. I said, stop. I don't care if they scratch the table. I don't care if they break the chairs because I can replace them. I can't replace you. My thoughts and my love go out to the victims' families that have lost loved ones, the 26 women that have lost their lives, and to their partners that's supposed to take care of them, that's supposed to love them. So we are demanding that the federal government and the state governments take action and take action now. I'd like to acknowledge our Prime Minister, the Honourable Anthony Albanese, and other senators and members here from our ACT and from the federal parliament. I am a proud Ngunnawal woman as I carry my ancestors in spirit, walking into the future, teaching the next generations about the oldest culture in the world, my culture. Aboriginal culture. I'd like to pay my respects to my elders past, present and emerging, and extend that respect to First Nations people here this afternoon as well. But I'd also like to acknowledge all the people that put this event on as well. It takes a lot to put together to put this event on. But I'd also like to acknowledge all the non-Indigenous people gathered here this afternoon as well. In keeping in the general spirit of friendship and reconciliation, it gives me great pleasure once again to welcome you to the land of the Ngunnawal people. And on behalf of my family and the other Ngunnawal family, I say welcome. But what do we want? Action! And what do we want? Now! Thank you! Hello everyone again. Before I get into things, I need to, if Alice Lukowski, a 10-year-old girl in dark leggings is here, she's missing at the moment, if we can have her come to the front, or if you see a 10-year-old girl with dark leggings called Alice, if you're here, if you could just make your way to the front to the police and our organisers, that'd be really good. And if the guys at the back, can you let us know when we found Alice, please? Sorry, that's pretty concerning, eh? Alice, please, yeah, come. If anyone knows that Alice is here, let's just start screaming so I know Alice is here, right? So, I want to acknowledge that we're on Ngunnawal land. I'm an Awabakal woman from Newcastle, and I'm really, really lucky to be here on Ngunnawal country and be here with all of you today. Thank you all so much for coming out. This is the last rally of the 17 rallies we've done the past 3 days. Yesterday, Sydney, we had 10,000 people.
Melbourne City this morning reported 15,000 people. And all other regional and rural areas all had around 2,000 to 3,000 people, which is pretty massive for a rural regional area. I just remembered I forgot to even tell you who I am. So my name's Sarah Williams. I'm the organiser, along with so many amazing women and community organisers around the country for these rallies. But what we're wearing, which might be a new term to a lot of people, is my organisation. I'm the founder and CEO of What We're Wearing Australia. I started the organisation in 2021. I've lived through a pretty horrific upbringing with child sexual abuse, family violence. I'm going to tell you a bit about it in a sec. But I really, really do hope that you guys can stand with me today, have my back, have all victim survivors' backs, all women's back today. And I'm just going to assume there's some who know me, some who know what we're wearing for a while, the people who don't know us, if you don't like what I say, maybe just email later. Okay? If you've been following us for a while, you know I call that the bullshit. So you're probably here for that if you're here. If that's new to you, sorry. Alright.
Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah, sorry, not sorry. Alright. So good afternoon, Canberra, and probably the whole of Australia that's also watching on the live stream. I'm beyond honoured to stand here today, as I said, on beautiful Ngunnawal land. Thank you for attending today. Thank you for standing with me and my team. 4 years ago, I escaped family violence and moved 5 hours from Newcastle to be homeless in Canberra. So it's pretty close to home. That's why I wanted to make sure that I got to at least be here as the founder here today in Canberra. I was homeless in Canberra for about 2 months and I moved back to Nui. I was really lucky to get back to Nui. But what happened then was I was in a domestic violence relationship. I had no support and I didn't even know that services existed. The few that I found, I couldn't really connect to. Newcastle is it's not the regional of the regionalists, you know, but it's pretty regional. And if we're struggling there, we're struggling a million times harder in other areas. I fled to Canberra here with the only person I knew, who was my boyfriend at the time, ex-boyfriend, don't worry. The relationship was really abusive. For 10 months, I was nearly murdered every single day. I was hit, raped, financially and emotionally abused. And the time I escaped was my 5th try. If you're not aware, it takes women up to potentially 7 times to escape. And a lot of the time, and as we know, people aren't making it out. I want to pay my respects to all the people here who have lost someone, who have lost a woman to men's violence. I'm really, really, really sorry that we are also all here on those circumstances. I also, before we get into the absolute shabam of all this, want to acknowledge that we're here today for the 32 women who have been killed to men's violence here in Australia. You've been probably hearing all across the media a whole range of different numbers. I'm here to confirm with you it's 32. 27 killed to domestic and intimate partner violence, and 5 were the Bondi attacks. I spent a lot of time with some of the family members yesterday in Sydney. The Bondi attacks. It's been a very, very hard week for a few. We've got a few rallies on in locations where the women died just, Perth today, they're rallying right now. So if we can all send our love to them. They lost someone Friday night after our first rally. Shame. So I'm sending them our love and our strength right now. Sending anyone our love and strength that's here that might be struggling, but also victim survivors who are still here and still alive. Today is about us as well, because we went through hell and we have to live with everything that comes with that, being a victim survivor. And we wouldn't be holding this event if we were well supported, I'll tell you that. Alright, let me find where I'm at, eh? Sometimes I talk off, but yeah. So, after I escaped the domestic violence relationship, I thought, we're all good. But then in 2021, when I started this organisation, I was sexually assaulted 3 times by 3 different perpetrators within 2021. It's pretty horrific. 2 of the 3 actually admitted on text message and to other people that both of them did rape me. Can anyone guess what happened? Nothing. Hey, come on, water. I'm having a parchment now.
Oh, I guess suppression order. A bit like the 28.
With 3 drinks.
Nothing happened. But even then, my investigations were absolutely disgusting. A story that I've been told, my own story, to keep quiet and not to share to anyone. I've been silenced for probably 10 months. I shared on Newcastle the first rally, I shared yesterday, I'm here to share again today. Last year, I started to actually have my detectives after 3 years, finally care a little bit. I went through a lot of police misconduct. And in saying this, we've had amazing police here today. I'm not throwing it at you, this is New South Wales Police, by the way. But I know police everywhere is hella bad. Oh god, I'm in trouble after this. Anyways, so I'm doing my reporting, I'm doing everything I'm told to do as a victim survivor. We're meant to do this, I wanted to do this so no other person goes through what I went through. And I'm here today to tell you that I actually reported police misconduct, something that not a lot of people know you can do. I was really lucky. I was just given up on the world, to be honest. I came across a lawyer who took me pro bono, and we did a police complaint to New South Wales Police. And if you didn't know, I'm pretty sure it's across the country the same, but particularly in New South Wales, police investigate police. Shame, yeah. And because police investigate police, you can think of all the rest. Anyways, I had 21 allegations against these 2 detectives. All 21 were not sustained. I sat across the room from the head, all the big folks, you know, and I was asking on behalf of our organisation that the police actually just gets automatically mandatory retrained right this second on sexual violence. They told me no, and that's when I heard all 21 were not sustained for the fact that police officer said it didn't happen. I've been absolutely threatened, told not to speak out. You can imagine the stuff. Here I am today anyways. It's out there now, let's see what happens. Anyways, I forgot to tell you before, this is about violence against women. Something really close to my heart is the Indigenous communities, queer communities and the disabled communities. Those 3 communities are disproportionately affected by domestic, family and sexual violence. Today we'll cover a lot of that as well as the violence against women. And if you're not happy with that, you're happy to go. Alright, into the good parts. So, it seems like I might be like doing this really well, and like it's been easy, but it hasn't been easy. I've had the immense pressure of how I respond and speak today. I want to thank the government and the people who have come, Anthony Albanese, Katie Gallagher, and I know there's a bunch. But I'd also like to know where they are in the crowd, if we can point them out, maybe get them to come to the front. Let's not shame them yet. I'd like to have hands up from Anthony Albanese. Oh, we've got our crew, awesome. And do we have any other politicians here?
What have they done? Shame on them!
If we've got any politicians, if you want to just come to the front or closer so I know where you are.
Where are they?
We've got literally no other politicians here, eh? Oh, I know we've got David speaking. Well, if you're a politician, you're here, come to the front. I know you got an election coming up this year.
Shame on them! Come on!
I'm addressing this obviously to everyone. On behalf of the thousands and thousands of victim survivors and the ones who are grieving the loss of their lives, can I ask, will you here today say that men's violence and violence against women is a national emergency? No, sorry, not you guys, I'm talking to them. I know you guys will. Can we get a thumbs up, thumbs down, or if you don't respond, that's fine.
Scream it out.
Will we announce that today men's violence and violence against women is a national emergency?
Everyone just went, yeah.
I'm not seeing a thumbs up, alright. Alright. Demand number 1 is a no for those here today and those on social media. Demand number 1.
They're part of the problem.
The next thing I wanted to ask is demand number 2. Someone really close to me. Her name's Tabitha. In my Newcastle community, we lost a beautiful girl called Mackenzie Anderson. How her family and friends found out was by going on Instagram and seeing her face on Instagram. And because of how close this family is to me, I decided to put it at number 2. So they are asking, the media has to wait 24 hours before posting a photo of the victim's face on social media, unless the family gives consent. So we're asking for 48 hours, sorry guys. 48 hours, media has to wait before posting a victim's face on social media without consent. I know that takes, I'm not stupid, I passed legislation change before. You guys probably think, who is this girl? I did, look me up, I have. I know it takes a lot easier than this. Can we start that chat about locking that in the next 3 months? No guys, I know you're good for it. You have a yes or a no, thumbs in the air. If it's a yes, 100% okay, they're not responding at all. Number 2, no response. I'm sorry. Our third campaign, you'll know it's close to my heart and I started it. It's called #BelieveMe. We're asking for mandatory victim blaming prevention training for frontline workers, first responders, and now media personnel. I don't want anyone else. No, there's so many people out here who have had really shitty victim blaming experiences. That's why we called this. What were you wearing? We want it mandatory. We want them to have to do a module like the RSA, where they have to get victim blaming prevention training before they can become any of those. So we're asking for mandatory. We're starting petitions around the country. However, we want to see if we can get any commitment on this today. Can we get any commitment with a thumbs up, thumbs down, or a no response for my Believe Me campaign, asking for mandatory victim blaming prevention training so people don't have to go through what I went through, where I nearly left this world because of what I went through.
Who's over there?
Anthony Albanese, Amanda Rishworth, and Katie Gallagher.
They won't be over there.
No response.
No response.
Do we have anyone here? Do we have any other politicians here willing to back me on this?
You got Pocock behind you.
We do have someone. If you have it, I need to see you and you need to point me to your names. I'm seeing no one, eh?
Where'd Pocock go?
I know.
David's next to David.
I know David will help, but is there anyone else, any politicians that are going to back this one?
Our Prime Minister won't back it.
Alright guys.
What about Pocock? Ask Pocock.
Emma Davidson from the ACT Greens member will back us on that one. I just want to make it known as well, I grew up in a very Labour household, you guys. I actually really like you guys back in the day, eh? So I don't want you to think I'm like, anti-Labour, I actually did. But I want to make that known nationally. We've got support from Emma Davidson from the Greens, but Prime Minister and other ministers here today, we were asking for support. Number 3, no response, guys. Sorry to everyone here and online. By the way, I want to make this clear that these things I'm saying isn't just some random girl calling for this. This has been thousands and years of talking to organisations, talking to victim survivors. This isn't just me. This is our whole country. This is our whole country. people, so I'm not going to ask them, but my last one comes from a bunch of organisations I spoke with yesterday at the Sydney rally. I've definitely, been interested in the past. We've got a national plan to end violence against women that will end in, I guess maybe however many years now. And it does have sexual violence in it, but if you're maybe a victim of sexual violence, you'll know sexual violence victims, we're often forgotten about or we're tied into domestic violence. For me, I've been through domestic violence, but I've also been through sexual violence that wasn't by a boyfriend. And I personally want to be acknowledged by that and not tied into domestic violence, because those people who did that to me, we weren't even dating. Some people go through strangers, some people go through friends, institutions, whatnot, and we need to be acknowledged. So what we're asking for from the sexual violence survivors out there, all our backing, we're asking, can we have a national sexual violence action plan separate to the current DV one? Can we have a thumbs up from any member here willing to back that, particularly our government and the government that's in right now? Thumbs up, thumbs down, or no response?
No response.
Oh, no. Do we have anyone else here willing to back that that's a politician? I know there's probably a few. I know Greenies have got us, but... Alrighty. That's my demands. Let me get into other stuff now.
We want action!
Guys, good news though. One good news. Alice is found.
In the crowd.
Alright. Now, if you know me, you know that I absolutely hate, I love public speaking, but I hate being the centre of attention. It doesn't make sense, but I hate being the centre of attention. I've hidden behind my organisation for years, which is probably why you don't know me. And I just want to uplift as many victim survivors as possible. But today, being a woman, I want to really back myself here and say, what I just did then was probably the fucking most scariest thing I've ever done in this entire fucking... I'm only 23 years old. I'm speaking on behalf of all the young people. Because us young people, us young black fellas, us young white people, all of us, all us young people, we're the ones that are going to have to live with the consequences of our current government's actions. And what I heard a lot last year was that if we don't start seeing things as a potential for a Peter Dutton in Prime Minister next year, and we don't want that. But we gave the opportunity to Anthony Albanese to make comment today, and we didn't get any. I don't want Peter Dutton, please, Lord. But now we know our answer. I don't know what the action is there. Someone's got it. We'll talk to them later.
No.
Minority government, that's what
I want to say something though before anyone speaks.
Go over, show.
I'm just in case.
Go, Michelle.
Before anyone speaks, I do want to say I'm doing this respectfully. People are going to think I'm not. People aren't going to like it. Who gives a hell, really? I'm doing this for victim survivors and the women that no longer can speak in this country anymore. And I know when I'm going to leave this, there's going to be people who don't like it. But I hope everyone that is a victim survivor has my back in this, because this isn't okay. And we don't have to please people who have the duty of care to look after us. A duty of care to make sure that not tomorrow, not the next day, not ever, we never lose another woman again. I actually, to be honest, don't really want anyone to speak, because I don't think they should be given the microphone. And I do think that it's going to be just a shit Sarah show, and I'm going to become the next Brittany Higgins. And I'm not looking for anyone to become that. I'm happy for my What We Learn team to talk with the ministers, hear what they have to say, and then we'll consider the decision of them speaking in about 10 minutes. But I'm not having any attacks towards myself or the organisation. Speaking or not speaking?
on, speak.
Thanks very much. I do want to congratulate the organisers, including yourself, for organising this today, and for women right around the country who have mobilised to say enough is enough. And just as I left Parliament House during the demonstration that was held a couple of years ago, I'm proud to be here with women, men, boys and girls saying we want violence against women and children to stop.
Page 28.
To be clear, we did ask to speak, myself and Katie, and we're told that that wasn't possible, and that's fine. I respect the organisers' right to do that. We're here today to demand that governments of all levels must do better, including my own, including every state and territory government.
Exposure 28.
We're here as well to say that society and Australia must do better. We need to change the culture, we need to change attitudes. We need to change the legal system. We need to change the approach by all governments. Because it's not enough to support victims. We need to focus on the perpetrators and focus on prevention. On Wednesday morning, I will convene a national cabinet. Has been agreed with every Premier and Chief Minister. We'll talk about what we can do, including as part of the National Plan to End Violence Against Women and Children, where in the first two budgets we've added $2.3 billion. In the time that we have been in government, we've allocated funding for 500 domestic violence workers. We now have 10 days paid domestic. I agree it's not enough. I said that. We need to do more. We have an escaping violence payment, and we have access to housing through Housing Australia Future Fund. We do have funding for training for frontline workers, $50 million that we put in the last budget.
Exposure 28.
Exposure 28. It's about children. Protect our children.
So I'll see if the Minister for the Status of Women, Katie Gallagher, a proud ACT Senator as well, will want to say some things. But I say this, I know, and that's why I'm here. That's why I'm here. I know that we all must do better. But I know this as well, that I've got to be honest. It's not just government's problem, it's a problem of our entire society. And this is a national crisis. And the reason why there's a disagreement with some of the language with emergency is emergency something that we use when there's a flood or bushfires where things kick in for 1 month or 2 months of funding. We don't need 1 month or 2 months. We need to address this in a serious way, week by week, month by month, year by year.
When are you going to expose the 28?
Across the generations. And we need to do it. We need to make sure that this isn't just up to women, it's up to men to change men's behaviour as well. And yes, people do need to be made accountable. And I'll be accountable for what my government does, just as I'm accountable for delivering on all of the Jenkins report. I'm accountable for delivering the first ever paid domestic and family violence leave. I'm accountable for delivering 500 extra community workers in order to address this crisis. But I want us to work together. I want us to work together as a society to build a better Australia, because an Australia where women and children is safe is a better Australia for women, for children and for men. Thanks very much.
Sorry everyone, this is a bit chaotic, eh?
You're doing well.
Yeah, this is pretty hectic, eh? I'm just gonna pass on to Bree to do the rest of the run sheet today. But I'm all good. We're strong black fellas here. We're friends together. I just want to say though, from the organisation's perspective, we're not funded at all by the government. We're grassroots. We run heckling groups that book out every single month. They book out both Newcastle and Sydney. We're not funded at all. There are so many organisations I've spoken to, men's behaviour change programs, healthy relationships, consent education, all these different groups on the ground like ours that aren't funded. Or the ones that are funded for a year and for 5-year commitments in plan. I'm also really sus that speakers going out. Alright, I'm going to pass on to Brett. She wants to say something to the media. My last thing to everyone is, thank you from the bottom of my heart being here today. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This wasn't for anyone but victim survivors here today, because we need to be known in this country, recognised, supported and helped, and we're not. And if we were, we wouldn't be here today. So I'm sending love and strength to all the survivors out there, and encouraging you to go on social media and share your story, tag us, hashtag believe me. And the other thing I want to update everyone is we're going on a national strike on May 20, women across the country, as an outcome of this protest. It is going to be posted on our social media. I was announcing that if there was no action. And I did acknowledge before, I know the government does things here and now, but here, we wouldn't be here if things were being done good enough, is the thing. Thanks for coming, strike on May 20th, thanks for being here, and I'm passing on to Brett.
Today, but I think after all that, I just want to say one thing. To all the media that just left to follow Mr. Albanese, to get the scoop, as well as the photographer that got in Sarah's face.
It's not about the children, it's not about any of that.
If any of the medias and the films were like come back to the women's voices for today, the victims' voices, instead of listening to something that might happen, I would really like to
police officers in blue.
Thank you.
Alright. And hi everyone, my name is Rihanna. Wow, that's a lot of people. Hi. If you're leaving because the Prime Minister left you, but if you're leaving for legitimate reasons, thanks for coming. I just want to introduce our next speaker.
He's just a senator.
He's
got no power.
No power. Center, and she's worked with the Canberra Red Cross Centre since 2009. So please welcome
Blame the night. My name is Mr. Pocock. Mr. Pocock.
Can everyone hear me?
Oh, I'm not filming. Ban and
Yes,
that's it.
because I was trying to stay on script today, and after everything that's happened, I might put some other things in as well. So, my name's Christina, and I particularly want to acknowledge the land that's standing today.
I want to have it
and pay my respects to their elders, past and present,
very
as well as
signed
all
against
of the
it.
First
About the
Nations
Southern
people
Dead.
here today, as well as victim survivors. Please know that today we stand here, and we stand here proudly with you as well. Sue and I are here today to show you the importance of leadership in the space of responding to violence and working towards a time where we're no longer needed.
How are you?
Not doing the
I
job
think
properly.
in
Let me a
30
metre
years,
away
Sue
from
and I
you.
might be standing here leaning on feminist immigrants. They're ones with really big
That's my weapon.
But we have a chance to ensure that if we're standing here, it is in the celebration of a world that is no
And
longer
women. And it's just not men and women that are
harming the
not men
vulnerable
that
people in our community through violence. Everyone is here today because in some way we've been touched, angered, outraged, saddened, and saddened by the tremendous impact of
Well, I was sexually assaulted by men too. Actually, I was in court last week for being sexually assaulted by police officers.
the pain and the grief that flows through the lives of those who are
At the
left
magistrate
behind.
court in Canberra.
Every rape and sexual assault of a child wounds our community at the time, but it also wounds the next generation and the next and the next. Every death, whether through suicide or murder, wounds all of us, and we can't away. Now we have a chance to all be leaders in changing the culture of our community. And leadership in this space is holding on to and attending rallies, working in services to folks, working in government, and leadership is also about playing our part and how we influence and support those around us. It is bringing the voices to the community and to places where what we're saying can be of influence. Leadership is how we intervene with family and friends when respect is needed. Leadership is raising our children in ways that support respect. Leadership is also showing compassion when someone trusts us enough to tell. Leadership means that no one is left behind. All of us have a chance today to step into this space. We cannot solve this horrendous problem without you. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Christina. I really appreciate that. Next up, we've got Cooper Kwash Matuk Yenra, and she is a human rights activist, social entrepreneur, and intersectional feminist. Much of Cooper's work focuses on the nexus of youth empowerment, gender equality, justice reform, and climate change. Please give it up for Cooper.
32 women have been killed in Australia this year alone. This shame! This is a harrowing fact. 32 lives lost to male violence. As a society, we cannot and must not ever stand for this. Molly Ticehurst, a dedicated childhood teacher and mum, was murdered in her own home. A young boy has lost his mother and had her taken away forever because of male violence. Parents will never be able to hug their child again because of male violence. As a country, we cannot stand for a world where women are not safe within their own homes. Sweetha Madhagani was a young mother of a 3-year-old boy. She was loved in her community and revered as a kind and caring soul. She was found dead in a wheelie bin outside of her home, murdered allegedly by her husband. Narelle Doble, a 65-year-old mother, was murdered by her own son. We have a crisis of male violence in this country, and we must not stand for this.
because Australia has a problem. In this so-called lucky country, we see domestic violence, especially male violence, at epidemic proportions. This cannot and must not be the case. And so we march. We march to call the government to action, to commit to more than just money, but the cultural and systemic change needed to end violence against women. We do not want to keep asking the government, how many more women will it take before you commit to action? The time to commit to action, the time to act is now. The time to end violence against women is now. Anthony Albanese, wherever you are since you've left, I demand you call a national emergency on violence against women. We march today, not because it is the job of women to do so, but this is the job of everyone, and especially men, to stand and demand an end to the scourge of violence against women. We are loud, we are defiant, and we are united in our stand. No more violence against women! Thank you.
Give it up for Cooper. Now I'm going to introduce Nazia Ahmed. She's the CEO of Social Outcomes Lab. Nazia.
Canberra, how amazing are you? Thank you for showing up. My name is Nazia Ahmed. I'm the CEO of the Social Outcomes Lab, founder of Her Kitchen Table, and a board member for the Australian Muslim Women's Centre for Human Rights. I'd like to acknowledge and pay my respects to the traditional custodians, the Ngunnawal people, and pay my deepest respects to elders past, present, and emerging. I've been involved with research and policy in domestic and family violence for over a decade, working with individuals, community organizations, government, and community leaders. I have known victims and perpetrators for much longer than that, sadly. This is what I have to say. Domestic violence is terrorism.
There, let's take you somewhere else.
Domestic violence is terrorism.
Don't squeeze my finger.
Okay.
The ultimate price is losing
What are you
your
doing
life.
to me?
I don't know.
It's nothing less than
They can't see.
physical pain.
Oh, fair enough. Sorry, guys.
Victims lose their
They
sense
see,
of
they
worth,
see
hopes, and
hats.
dreams. They're constantly walking on eggshells. They're no longer even sure if they're a human being. Children growing up witnessing DFE face lifelong issues. Those that survive experience lifelong issues including mental health, PTSD, economic, social, and so many other things. They lose their life. So we need to act now. We need to give DFE the importance that it is. Domestic and family violence is a crisis. It's a national crisis. We are supposed to be the lucky country, but we are not yet the lucky country for everyone. This needs to change, and it needs to change today. So, what do we do about it? Government, you need to fund more programs, and you need to fund programs that work and are built and run by people that have lived experience.
That'll do.
If you are giving out payments, that's excellent. You need to understand how traumatic it is for a person experiencing DFV to fill out massive forms to prove that you are actually a victim.
They're all just words.
So thank you for policy, thank you for funding. It's really, really good, but you need good policy and you need good funding. Bureaucrats and police,
should be up to
you
date.
need to actually understand what DFV is. Organizations, employers, and HR, you need to give people the support that they need, and
Yeah,
start
it
to
is.
start with
It's the same.
literacy. Figure
They
out
get all the
how will you
details
know
of
if
juicy
someone
goss
is
and everything,
experiencing
and
DFV in
then,
your organization,
they get off on
figure out
that,
how you can give
and
them
they
the
don't do
help that
anything
they
about
need
it.
beyond what's actually available in legislation.
Exactly.
For all the caring and amazing, incredible individuals, take note of the people around you, the signs? Have
Get
they
signs,
changed?
read the
Have
signs,
they become
read them.
withdrawn? Have they lost their spirit? Do they have a sadness in their eyes that wasn't there before? Take them out for coffee. Be patient. Let them know that what they're going through is not normal.
That's all I can take.
If you are experiencing domestic and family violence, or you're not sure if you are, know that you are so brave and you deserve everything. Find one person that might help you and give it everything that you have. Find it within yourself to ask for help. Everyone deserves to live, and enough is enough.
Well, none of them want to talk about suppression orders because that's going to.
Who's part of DVSC.
No,
He's going to.
Yep.
My name is Sue Weebeck and I'm the CEO of the Domestic Violence Crisis Service here in the NCP.
Yep.
I'd also like to acknowledge the warm and generous welcome from Auntie Violet. We're always welcome on Ngunnawal country. As many times as we have to march here as humanly possible, we have always been welcomed and we've always been supported. For those that are here today, I want to remind you that there are crisis lines available to support you. Canberra Rate Crisis Centre on 6247-2525 and the Domestic Violence Crisis Service on 62800-900. There are people working today who can answer your call and provide you with support. I'd like to acknowledge all of the people that sit here today that aren't just marching on a Sunday afternoon, but turn up to work to respond to the needs of the community experiencing sexual violence, domestic violence and family violence. A workforce of mainly women and some committed men, but mainly women who turn up day after day in difficult circumstances to try and ensure that we don't have to march again next month or the month after that, to ensure that we don't have to learn the name of somebody else who is lost to the hands of somebody who is supposed to love them. To the people who turn up to work every day to make sure that we don't have to learn the names of the thousands upon thousands of women who don't make the headlines because they're living with violence every day. The women this country has lost at the hands of men's violence is a shame on us all. The time for solidarity has ended and the time for partnership is now. We cannot respond to the needs of our community without the support of government. We cannot respond to the needs of our community without the support of business. We cannot respond to the needs of our community without your support. Not just marching on a Sunday, but having the conversation at your sports training, your volunteer activities, your craft groups, your workplaces, when you go to visit the nursing home, to visit your elderly relatives. Every space you inhabit is a space that you can show leadership. The time for partnership is now, and that means all of us.
Up next we've got David Pocock. So having migrated from Zimbabwe with his family as a teenager, he went on to captain the Wallabies and vice captain the Brumbies. He is now an independent senator, politician working to represent the community. Sorry, I'm last minute speaking. But David, everyone.
Your mate.
Thank you so much, and thank you, Auntie Violet, for the welcome. You're an absolute force. You're a treasure, and always appreciate how welcoming and graceful you are. We've seen the news: 32 women in less than 4 months. If that's not a national emergency, I don't know what is. We've heard so much about this for a long time, about this being a women's issue. This is a men's issue. we need men to be standing up and owning this. And as Sue said, and I really want to thank DVCS for the work that they do, we have to step up and work in partnership to solve this. We thank Sarah, Kathy, and all the others on the team for putting this together, for everyone for turning up. Thank you for your key demands. I back them in, and there's lots more that we can and should be doing. Women in Australia should be able to feel safe. And the way to make women feel safe is for men to change their behaviour. The challenge to men to be changing our conversations, to be calling out disrespect, to be picking our mates up about some of the sexist language that is used. Clearly, this is not something that we can just change overnight, but we can change it, and we must change it, and it takes a commitment from all of us. And as we've heard, there are things that the government can and must be doing to step up, and they can be doing them now. I want to acknowledge the Prime Minister, the other ministers, local members who turned up. It's a big change from 3 years ago, from the rhetoric that we heard. One of the things I've seen in the Senate is the bipartisan nature and urgency when it comes to community safety, when, say, refugees are being released by the High Court. Absolute urgency in there. $250 million set aside for extra policing for community safety. We need to see the same level of urgency when it comes to women's safety. We see hundreds of billions of dollars set aside for submarines, and at the same time, DVCS and other frontline services have their funding coming to an end in June with no certainty beyond that. You cannot tell me that this is an adequate response. We have to push the government to step up and actually provide long-term funding for frontline services as a minimum. Just finally, we know the link between poverty, insecurity, and family and domestic violence. Women wanting to leave, but not being able to for fear of poverty, of not having somewhere to live. Nowhere safe to go, not able to find a home through our frontline services. One thing the government could be doing is to raise the rate of single parent payments, of job seeker, of youth allowance. To actually look after Australians. We're an incredibly wealthy country, and we hear so much with the budget coming up about how the budget is about priorities. Well, let's prioritise Australians. Let's prioritise women in this budget. And we hear that there isn't money. At the same time, we're not willing to tax our gas companies. We give it to them for free. This is about priorities. So thank you all so much for coming out today. I'll continue to push in there, but we need to see action from government.
So Sandra is a part of the volunteers here who have helped tirelessly and committed so many hours these last few weeks to help bring this together whilst we've been doing this all over Zoom. So Sandra lives and works here, and she works in violence prevention with Men at Every Man. Please give it up for Sandra. Thanks for showing
turning up. I really appreciate all of you for making it here today. Just put my ridiculous phone down. I'd like to acknowledge the beautiful land on which we live, work, and that we are here today. I want to pay my respects to elders past, present, emerging. Always was, always will be. So like Rhiannon said, my name is Sandra Rajic. I have paper because I'm much older these days and I can't see on the phones. I've worked in the community sector for 14 years. For the last 6 years, I've worked for Everyman here in Canberra. We are a service who support men with complex needs, men at risk of homelessness, and our specialist violence prevention programs. We aim to provide early interventions, education, and prevention to change the cycle of abuse and violence in our community. At Everyman, I am a counsellor and I co-facilitate a men's behaviour change group program for men who use violence. I also support victim survivors of domestic violence through our partner advocacy and support team. Violence against women is not new, nor is it a women's issue. We need more men to stand up and say this is not okay. Yes. Men need to step up and get involved because men tend to listen to other men. Men need to call out violent, abusive behaviour in other men and to advocate for change and recognise this as a national emergency. Men's violence doesn't just happen to women, it affects other men, whole families and entire communities. Where are all the conversations in the media about the impact of children witnessing or losing their parents due to men's violence? These children are forever changed by these traumas, and some may grow up to perpetrate violence themselves as adults, having been raised and come to accept violence as a norm. The men's violence is not just an issue of bad men. It is a norm. It is a culture. It is an oppressive regime, and change must start with addressing these norms. Yet reporting and knowing all these statistics that we hear, knowing that these violent patriarchal norms have created an environment where violence against women is expected or encouraged. And what has changed over the years? Not much. I've lived in Canberra most of my life. I'm lucky to live in this beautiful place. My favourite place to visit is the National Zoo and Aquarium. It's amazing. 6 days before Christmas last year, a woman was allegedly killed by a man at the zoo. She worked with him. How do we not know her name? Why was her name not repeated in the media or amongst ourselves? Is it because she's an immigrant? Her name is Shawong Choden. She was 29 years old. She was murdered by a man allegedly in Canberra 4 months ago. 4 months ago. What about our First Nations women around Australia? What are their names? What about all the other women of colour and the ethnicities? And all the other women whose names don't even make the news? Because violence against women is normalised. It has become, oh sadly, another woman dead, or it's a crime of passion, which seems to excuse murder. We need to do better as a community. Australia is a diverse place. We cannot allow these women to be forgotten, or another number to be added as a grim statistic. We need solutions and action. I'm almost finished. Molly Ticehurst was murdered this week. She did all the right things. She had an order. She made the correct reports. He had breached. He was released, and then he murdered her. She was failed by the system. I have worked with many victim survivors whose stories mirror Molly's, including women where all the reports were made to the key DV areas noting, "I'm scared her partner will kill her." I've seen the hopelessness for victim survivors to plead with messages saying, "Sandra, if he continues to get bail, it gives me no chance to get out of this situation. How am I supposed to enforce an order myself if the courts won't even enforce it to keep me safe when the courts have the power to do it?" Repeat offenders continuously breaking intervention orders and testing the justice system boundaries with minimal consequences.
Shame!
This is why women die. Yes, shame. Repeated breach of orders. All men who are released are given either a mandate or a recommendation to attend programs like the ones at Everyman where I work. Many men, but definitely not all, attempt to engage with a service, but the long wait lists continue as we are underfunded and understaffed. It's also not popular to fund men's services like ours because we work with perpetrators of violence, although it is prevention. This is where major changes can happen. We need education, mental health services and behaviour change programs as one part of the solution. Lately, there is an increase in the number of men who are looking for support to address their violent, controlling and abusive behaviours, but support is not available. At Everyman, we have 60 men that are on our waiting list requesting support for our men's behaviour change program. Hold on, Speaker, I know you are. That's Speaker who does the referrals at my work. She's telling me that there's more. These men have identified they are using some form of abuse in their relationships. They are waiting for help to be educated and to change. We also have a group program for men who use violence beginning in June. For that program, we take 16 men. We currently have over 70 men on the wait list. We also have a partner advocacy and support program providing support, referrals and safety for victim survivors while their parents, while their partners attend the program. These programs around New South Wales and ACT are either limited in their funding or have zero funding. How are we supposed to keep women safe? If governments are serious about prevention and addressing men's use of violence, these types of services need to be funded to provide early interventions. Without them, opportunities to teach change are lost and violence continues, and we will continue only to address the tip of the iceberg regarding violence towards women, children and the vulnerable will just continue. If there's no perpetrator, there is no victim. Thank you.
And I also want to give a shout out to her for all her efforts with helping organise this. Next we have Lauren Beckman. Lauren is a writer and a content creator who talks about political and social issues through an intersectional lens on her Instagram account, Lauren.lately. Please give it up for Lauren.
Look, we're all here because of the murder of 32 women. To put that into perspective, that number is almost double the number of days that Parliament has sat this year. For every single one of those deaths, there are thousands more women who are at risk every single day. Death is the very visible endpoint of an epidemic of domestic, family and sexual violence against women that is often far too invisible. In Australia, 1 in 5 women has experienced sexual violence. 1 in 5 women have been stalked. 1 in 4 women have experienced violence, emotional or economic abuse at the hands of a partner. 1 in 3 women have experienced physical violence, and 1 in 2 women have experienced sexual harassment. And we know that First Nations women, women of colour, women with disabilities are all far more likely to be the victims of this kind of violence and abuse. How many times do we have to hear these numbers? How many different ways can we possibly say it? More than 1 in 2 recorded assaults and 1 in 3 reported murders are related to family and domestic violence. If any other factor was identified as being so linked to assaults and murders, it would be a priority to address. In Australia, intimate partner violence contributes to more death, disability and illness in young women than any other preventable risk factor. If any other single preventable cause created that much harm, we would have already addressed it. But because our society normalises male violence, the objectification of women, regressive and harmful gender stereotypes, and normalizes gender inequality, we are supposed to accept it. We've been told that it is about generational change. But more than half of the men who have murdered women this year are under the age of 30. We need to address the attitudes of young men in this country as a matter of urgency.
Stop confusing them.
More than 1 in 3 young men believe that women make up sexual assault claims to get back at men. 30% of Australian men do not even believe that gender inequality exists. So that generational change is not happening, not the way we need it to. Everyone has a responsibility for addressing violence against women, but not everyone has an equal responsibility. We need more prevention, more accountability, and more funding. We can no longer outsource solving this problem to future generations. If we need to put it into economic terms, as we so often must when it comes to gender inequality, violence against women costs Australia an estimated $22 billion every single year. Men's violence against women is an economic issue and it should be funded as such. Yes! Men's violence against women intersects with every major challenge that is facing us at the moment. Cost of living crisis, skills shortages, the housing crisis. We need it to be treated as a whole of society, whole of budget, whole of country issue. We are tired of reviews and inquiries and words, and we are also tired of women carrying the load of this conversation. We are all here today to say enough. People have shown up around the country this weekend to take action, to show how frustrated we are and how tired we are of waiting. We know that change takes time, but we also know that government can move when the moment demands it. It took only 12 days after Port Arthur for gun reform to be announced. The pandemic showed us how quickly the government can move in a national emergency. What does it take for men's violence against women to be seen as urgent enough? I want to tell you all that we are about 2 weeks out from the next federal budget. Budgets are about choices and about what the government chooses to prioritise. The eyes of Australian women are going to be on this budget. To see the choices the government makes reflect their words. We want to see that their actions match the words we heard them say today. We need to hold them to it.
We're now going to hear from another incredible activist, Lama. Lama is a Palestinian who works for the Australian Palestinian Advocacy Network.
Good afternoon, everyone. We gathered here on the land of the Ngunnawal people. Always was and always will be Aboriginal land. As an Australian woman, I'm honoured with the opportunity to speak today on behalf of Palestinian women. Palestinians too are Indigenous people. Our land always was and always will be Palestinian land. We are inspired by the bravery of Aboriginal women fighting for justice and freedom for their communities. We're also inspired by all women in the struggle, women of colour, queer women, hijab-wearing sisters, all the great women marching today across the continent and yelling no more. No more gender-based violence. No more patriarchy. No more misogyny. We're all too aware of the alarming growth of gender-based violence in Australia. We are all too aware of the urgent need to address the violence against women in Australia. I have been invited to speak as a Palestinian woman, a proud Palestinian woman. Your invitation highlights for me 3 things about Australian women. First, it highlights our decency. Even as women suffering gender-based violence in our home country, we still have the capacity to consider the plight of women elsewhere in the world. That says something about our fortitude, our resilience, our empathy, our strength. Second, It highlights that gender-based violence isn't something specific to one country or one culture. It's a scourge affecting people everywhere. Third, it highlights that Australian women are particularly sickened and saddened by the ongoing violence perpetuated against Palestinian women.
Well over half the people have left, that's why.
Violence which has murdered more than 10,000 Palestinian women in the last half year alone. Palestinian women are deliberately and sadistically more targets by those who accord no value to our lives, suffering degradation and humiliation, rape and torture before their brutal murder, too often in full view of their loved ones. For those who survive, the violence and degradation continue. In Gaza today, Palestinian women are struggling to prevent starvation for their families. At the same time, they're intimidated, insulted, abused, and threatened by those perpetrators who are violating their communities. By men who find it amusing to parade themselves in TikTok wearing what was once the most intimate apparel of those women, while mocking racist commands. For Palestinian women, gender-based violence is nothing new. Even it's speaking up now, as it is in Australia. For more than 3/4 of a century, we have suffered intimidation, dispossession, rape, and murder at the hands of the men who have stolen our country. As a child and a young woman, I regularly experienced violent assault at checkpoints, coupled with verbal abuse and racist slurs. I was locked while naked, forced to undergo strip search. All settler colonial systems apply gendered violence. Palestinian women suffer sexualized torture, rape, castration under interrogation. Palestinian women lose unborn babies in the ambulances held up at checkpoints. Our oppressors distribute T-shirts illustrated with pregnant women in the crosshairs of their sniper rifles. Feminism must be intersectional and global in its scope. Advocating for the right of all women, regardless of race, nationality, we must speak up. We must speak out against all forms of violence against women, whether it's from Iran, from Sudan, from Australia, or Palestine, or anywhere else in this world. During this critical time, we must acknowledge the crimes committed against Palestinian women by the Zionist regime. Crimes that are facilitated by the complicity of this government. As a Palestinian woman, I'm so grateful for the opportunity to speak here. Thank you for your attention to our plight. And as an Australian woman, I remain proud that we have the capacity and the grace to recognize and acknowledge the suffering of others, even as we face our great tribulations now. We will endure, we will overcome. Thank you all.
Next, we've got a poem being read out by Kiara. Kiara is new to the activism scene, but she's super passionate. Can you please give it up for her?
Hey guys, thank you. I am like really nervous at this. But what were you wearing? I reported an assault that happened whilst I was asleep. But what were you wearing? Oh, I'm sorry. Where was the line? Was it the line of my skirt or the line of my shirt? Was it the line of my sleeping eyes, or were you distracted by human vibes? That's right. What was I wearing? What did I do? Did I smile too much? I wonder, what did I do? I must have done something. I guess I should just shut up and pay my dues. Keep quiet and accept, fear to ever misstep. Age 15, the age I began to see. Age 15, surrounded by a sea of shame and violence. What was your age? Seeing is believing, but someone makes sense of the daily abuse I witnessed. Turn your head, close your eyes, just drown it out, just to survive. The norm was the abuse, the norm was the use, the norm was the fear as the dark was going near. The norm was the keys between trembling fingers as the sense of dread lingers. The norm was seeing a face of another woman lost in hate. The norm is looking for every exit whilst also trying to remain pleasant. The norm is to be asked, but what were you wearing was forever wounded from the past. What were you wearing when you saw your first fight? What were you wearing when you first ran to hide? What were you wearing when you first feared for your life? What were you wearing? My children better never hear that. Born in a world that we taught them to fight back, fight for their voices, fight for their rights. We need to start now, or they will too fear the night. What did they wear when they took 31 lives? What did they wear when they committed these violent hate crimes? Is it 31 or now 34? The numbers keep climbing, so I just can't be sure. Oh, not a peeper of sound. Anthony. Woman, stop starting a fight. Your voice is too loud. Have some foresight. Nothing to gain but pain. No one cares for my name, only that I am to be blamed. So please, stand the fuck up. Say enough is enough. Let's put an end to the end of this generational trauma and abuse. We need every voice to sum this shit up. In a world that divides, we need us all to unite to end this violent fight. Guys, this is not a women's issue. This is a national fucking crisis. I really wish Anthony was still here. I just want him to listen to us, to hear our voices, to hear our stories, and to stand with us and recognise it as a national fucking crisis. Can I get you all to scream enough is a fucking enough with me? Enough is enough. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. Thank you guys so much.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Kira. We are now going to have some incredible volunteers come forward. They are going to be reading the names of the 32 women we have lost this year, followed by a minute's silence.
These are the names of the 32 women killed in 2024. Janice Walker, Nicole Double, Alison Robinson, Kiara Marshall, Alana Martin, Antoinette Tozer, Eileen White, Donna Barakat, Samira Kamaluddin, Amarajit Kar Sardar, Rebecca Young, Min Cho, Bonnie Lee Anderson, Natasha Nabizi, Samantha Murphy, Unnamed Woman, Joanna Perry, Shatanya Madargani, Melanie Kazinga, Zomi Franklin, Unnamed Woman, Hannah McGuire, Ashley Good, Dawn Singleton, Jade Young, Pikria Dochio, Shuyan Cheng, Tara Marie Morrison, Leslie Stillman, Molly Tykos, Emma Bates, and Erica Hay. We'll just have a minute silence.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I want to thank you all so much for coming out here today, for remembering those lives of the women, not lost just this year, but every year before that. This is a national crisis and it needs to be labelled as that. I really, from the bottom of my heart, from all of us here at What Were You Wearing, want to thank you all for showing up today and continuing to advocate for those such as yourself around you and those women we mentioned today. Rallies like this mean so much, they bring change, so just by being here today, you're a part of history. Sadly, we're still fighting this issue in 2024. I also want to encourage you to take time to take care of yourself after today's rally. This has been a hard day and we are going to continue to have these hard conversations, and I want to make sure that everyone goes home today and does something for themselves, whether that be watch your favourite guilty pleasure movie, play a board game, read a book, scroll on TikTok, anything that is. If it's a hot bath, cup of tea, please take time for yourself, and honestly, thank you so much for coming out. I also want to give a special shout out to Sarah. She has showed so much bravery. Supporting organisations, grassroots organisations. As we said, we are not funded. We currently have a GoFundMe up where we'd appreciate $1 or anything. It goes towards paying our speakers, our Welcome to Country. It goes towards funding sexual violence services so we can continue to be here for survivors, because the government clearly is not. That's all from us today. I'm Rhiannon, I'm part of the team here at What Were You Wearing, and thank you all so much. Give yourselves a round of applause.
What's your dress up?
It says party
Yeah. Anyway, that was interesting. We'll see if Katie Gallagher does checks out Exposed 28.
They're all getting triggered on
She
here.
does.
Right, yeah. Yeah, special thank you to Katie Gallagher for our thumbnail tomorrow.
For our thumbnail. Oh, okay,
thumbnail,
good.
yeah.
All right, there you go. All right, guys, love you all. Stay safe. Right.
I'll walk yous back. Maybe the crew's got something to say to you before we turn off.
I think that bloody just as elbow's coming out, but my bloody phone.
Yeah.
I thought, oh, you bastard.
You broke your phone.
Yeah, it did. Burned it out. But yeah. So people just need to do some research.
Yeah, probably there was about triple the amount of people, Rosalie, when you changed over your screens. When it first started. Yeah, we kind of guessed at about 3,500.
Have a good day? Yeah, what about you? Yeah, good. Want to do some research?
No, I
to
know.
protect our children?
No, thank you guys. I'm with the
That's
anti-vaxxers.
all about the children.
Yeah, she remembers us from the Irish pub.
Yeah, that's me.
Just do your homework and you'll see.
Yep.
You won't. If you're okay for grown men fucking little 4-year-olds, 5-year-olds.
Obviously, I'm not okay with that. I didn't
Well
say I
then,
was. I just said I
this
don't
is
want
exactly what this is, love. This is
Yeah.
what this is
But
about.
you're not willing to research into it because you're a vaccine nurse.
Having
No, that's two separate
having
issues.
experienced some of these
I'm
things,
saying I'm not interested in chatting about it
this
with
is
you.
not the time to do this.
Well,
Really.
it actually is a
Let's
time.
focus on the
It is a
women
time.
that were killed.
And what about the
It's
children?
not only
that are
about
getting
that.
Children, yes,
Children
I
and
raised
women.
my children on my own because
Children
of
and women.
idiots that
Yep,
chose to
okay.
bash me.
We
So-
still need to protect the women and children
I'm
from the
I can
domestic
actually
violence.
do proper research, not research by you guys who don't even understand facts.
This has got nothing to do about a vaccine. This is about bloody exposure.
Yeah,
to
about
pedophiles.
rape of children.
How do you even get that into the picture? This wasn't about vaccines.
Harassing random people. Why would anyone want to engage with you?
Oh, love.
You injected poison into people's body.
Yeah, you have a lovely day. Way too hard work. Go away.
Vaccine nurses. They're crazy.
Go away. Go get lost. Go around the roundabout. Go away.
Sorry for that interaction, guys.
Yeah, sorry, guys. That's that stupid woman that left our signs out, wasn't it?
No, she was the one from the Irish pub that day at the Multicultural Festival.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Bloody silly.
Good words on there.
Sorry, blue-haired vaccine nurse is crazy.
You keep using that word again.
Crazy? Oh, whoopsie. But that doesn't matter. It got used plenty of other times.
What am I looking at?
You
She was there.
Yeah.
Whoopsie. Anyway, would anyone like to say a few words to the digs?
I'm sorry you had to put up with that.
What interrupted? Are we still live? Going forward?
All part of the agenda.
And also, that Christine talking to Katie Gallagher with the Exposure 28 shirt, definitely thumbnail for tomorrow.
Awesome. Yeah, I wasn't watching. I couldn't listen to that waffle on the line.
Hey, Dick.
Fair enough.
Not your waffle, I mean the crap coming out of Albo and all those other people in there. I'm surprised you just managed to listen to it all. You got a good spot there though, man.
Yeah. The PSOs came up to me afterwards and I'm just like, are you guys doing your job? I was like 2 meters away from him. And my voice is my weapon.
I've got deja vu happening right here.
Alright guys, have a lovely afternoon everybody, except for you, Nobby. Have a great day.
Yes. Thanks for joining us. Freedom. See you tomorrow.